In a small village, there was a little shop, and in that shop there was a big jar filled with sweets. Oh, yes. Every day, lots of children came to the shop, and the shopkeeper allowed them to take a handful of sweets from the jar. One day a greedy boy came to the shop. He put his hand deep into the jar and grabbed as many sweets as he could. Then he tried to pull his hand out of the jar, but he couldn't. The mouth of the jar was too narrow and his hand was too big. "Oh, I can't get my hand out," he cried. The shopkeeper was amused. He chuckled and said, "My child, you can't pull out your hand because you have taken too much. Let go of some sweets and take only what you can carry, and you will have no trouble pulling out your hand." The boy thought for a moment. He slowly released a few sweets and slowly pulled out his hand with the rest of the sweets. He walked out of the shop a little wiser than before. From that day on, whenever the boy went to the shop, he took only a handful of sweets and walked away happy and content. Friends, this story teaches us that when we are greedy and try to take too much, we often end up with nothing. But when we learn to take only what we need, life becomes sweet and enjoyable. It also teaches us an important lesson about the value of contentment. The boy was greedy and wanted more and more sweets. But he didn't realize that if he kept on grabbing more and more, he would not be able to enjoy any of them. It was only when he let go of some sweets that he was able to take the rest with him and enjoy them. Do you also sometimes grab things too tightly in your life? Do you also sometimes try to take too much so that, in the end, you cannot enjoy anything? Well, if you do, then remember the story of the greedy boy and learn to let go of things. Learn to be content with what you have. If you like this story, hit the like button and share it with your friends. And for more such stories, stay tuned. Once upon a time, there was a wise teacher who used to tell his students valuable life lessons through simple stories. One day he held a stick of chalk in his hand. He drew a small dot on the board and asked his students, "What do you see?" One student quickly replied, "A dot." Another said, "A small black mark." The rest of the class agreed. The teacher smiled and said, "Interesting. None of you mentioned the wide white board behind the dot. You only focused on the tiny mark." The class fell silent. The teacher continued, "In life, we often do the same. Pay attention only to small mistakes, small flaws, our own or others, and we forget the larger picture of goodness, kindness, and effort that surrounds them." The students pondered over their teacher's words. They realized that they had only focused on the dot and ignored the bigger whiteboard. Some felt ashamed for not seeing the bigger picture. The teacher, noticing their expressions, said, "It's all right. We all do it sometimes. But today you learned a valuable lesson. A single flaw or mistake doesn't define a person's true value. Just like the wide white board, which is more important than the small dot on it. Don't let a small flaw ruin your judgment of the entire person. Look at the bigger picture. See the good in others and appreciate their efforts. That is true wisdom." The students thanked their teacher for the lesson, understood that their focus could either magnify the bad or the good. From that day on, they tried their best to look beyond small flaws and celebrate the bigger picture of goodness in themselves and others. So friends, what did you learn from this story? It's time for some self-reflection. Are you guilty of focusing too much on the small dots in life and ignoring the bigger whiteboards? Do you find it hard to see the good in people when you're faced with their mistakes? It's okay to admit it. We've all been there. But remember, awareness is the first step towards improvement. Acknowledge your tendencies, then take small steps to shift your focus. Start appreciating the bigger picture, not just the small dot. Don't let negativity or a single flaw cloud your judgment. See the good in people. Celebrate the goodness in life. That's where true happiness and wisdom lie.